Hi friends, good morning. Today we are going to continue the lesson Ancient Civilization. We have 4 civilizations. Among that, in the previous class we have discussed about 2 civilizations, that is Egyptian Nile Valley civilization and Hammurabi's Mesopotamian civilization. Now today the third one, the Chinese civilization. China has 2 major rivers. One is known as Huanghe, that is Yellow River, and the other is called Yangtze River. The Yellow River is known as Sorrow of China. Why it is called as the Sorrow of China? Since it changed its course and caused frequent floods. So once in a year they are facing frequent floods. Due to that they are calling Sorrow of China. Forward to the river Yellow River, that is Huanghe. That's evident. China had many city-states and gradually these states became a part of an empire. Look at the polity, that is politics, and the emperors, who were the rulers. Shi Huangdi, that is King Shi Huang, which means the first emperor who founded the Qin Shang dynasty. The emperor had the title Son of Heaven. He is considered to be the first emperor of China. The period between 221 and 206 BC, that is before Common Era, is known as the Imperial Era in China. He defeated the feudal lords, that is the landlords, and established a strong empire. He is credited with unifying China. Shi Huangdi destroyed the walled fortification of different states and constructed the Great Wall of China to protect the empire from the invading nomadic people, the unknown people, those who are crossing the China. He also built roads to integrate the empire. Who is that? The first king. Look at this map. Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty, and present day China. This is the river, Huanghe River, that is Yellow River. Sorrow of China, we have told that thing only. This is the river Huanghe. This is the Chinese river valley civilization. Now the Han Empire, 206 to 220 AD, that is in Common Era. During this period, a written history of this empire was made available in China. The greatest of the Han emperors, Wu Ti, that is Han Wu the Great, 141 to 87 BC, before Common Era, who expanded the empire and built many public amenities, including irrigation tanks. Because of the Silk Road and the resultant trade connections, China benefits immensely during the rule of Emperor Zheng, that is around 75 to 88 AD, that is Common Era. Chinese silk was much sought after the Romans during the time of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius in 166 AD, that is in CE, Common Era. Some of the Chinese silk might have reached Rome through the ports of Tamilagam. Look at the terracotta warriors, China. What is terracotta? It's a type of fired clay. It's a soil only. It is red in color. Okay. A type of fired clay, typically of a brownish red color and unglazed, used as an ornamental building material and in modeling time. That's the terracotta. It's a kind of soil. This army refers to a large collection of terracotta warrior images which found in China. They depict the armies of the king, like King Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. They were buried with the king in 210 to 209 BCE. They are found at the northern foot of the Lishan mountain, 35 kilometers northeast of Xi'an, that is Shanghai province, as a part of the mausoleum of the king. Now it's an important question, philosophy and literature. Chinese poets and philosophers such as Lao Tzu, Confucius, Mencius, Mozi, and Chao Xian who contributed to the development of Chinese civilization. The Spring and Autumn Annals is the official chronicle of the state at the time. The Yellow Emperor's Canon of Medicine is considered China's earliest written book on medicine. It was codified during the time of Han Dynasty. Look at the Confucius picture. Confucius, he was very famous among the Chinese philosophers. He was a political reformer. His name was Kung, the master. He insisted on cultivation of one's own personal life. He said, if personal life cultivated, family life is regulated automatically. And once family life is regulated, national life is regulated. So the people started to follow, to develop their own family, automatically the nation will be developed. Lao Tzu, he was a master archive keeper of Chao state. He was the founder of Taoism. He argued that desire is the root cause of all the evils. So desire, wants, that is the root cause of all the evil things. Mencius, he was another well-known Chinese philosopher. He traveled throughout China and offered his counsel to the rulers. Now look at the Chinese script. Chinese script on the bones. Look at the picture. The Chinese scripts written over there on the bones. Chinese, they developed a writing system from an early time. Initially it was a pictographic system and later it was converted into a symbol form. What are the contributions of the Chinese civilization? A writing system was improved, invention of paper, opening of the Silk Road, invention of gunpowder. This is the final thing they have contributed to the entire world. Now the next, Indus Valley Civilization. Indus civilization, also known as Harappan civilization, which covers an area of around over 1.5 million square kilometers in India and Pakistan. Look at the area it covers. Sutkagan Dor in the west of the Pakistan, Iran border, Shotughai, Afghanistan, in the north Alamgirpur, Uttar Pradesh in India in the east, and Taimabad, Maharashtra in India in the south are the boundaries within which the Harappan culture has been found. Its main concentration, what is that? It is in the regions of Gujarat, Pakistan, Rajasthan and in Haryana. Where they are actually? They are in the Gujarat, Pakistan, Rajasthan and Haryana. Look at the planned towns, how they were planned during the period. This is the great bath of Mohenjo-daro, we used to call. Mohenjo-daro. Great bath, planning towns. Okay. Harappa, Punjab, Pakistan. Mohenjo-daro, that is Sindh in Pakistan region. Dholavira, it's in Gujarat, India. Kalibangan, Rajasthan region in India. Lothal, that is also Gujarat in India. Banawali, Rajasthan, India. Rakhighari, Haryana, India. And Surkotada, Gujarat, India. And the major cities of the Indus civilization. What is the main region of this Indus? Fortification. Well planned streets and lanes and drainage can be observed in the Harappan towns. The Harappans used baked and unbaked bricks and stones for the construction. A civic authority which perhaps controlled the planning of the towns. A few of the houses had more than one floor. The tank called the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro. That is the picture you are watching, the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. It was an important structure, well paved with several adjacent rooms. Look at the map. This is Indus cities and towns, both India and as well as Pakistan, Afghanistan region covered. Look at this, Indus in India, western border, Indus cities and towns. Indus Valley Civilization is also known as Harappan Civilization. Since Harappa was the first site to be discovered, this civilization is known as Harappan Civilization rather than Indus Valley Civilization. It was known as a Harappan Civilization since it extended beyond the Indus River Valley. Look at the third detail now, important one, agriculture and animal domestication. The Harappans practiced agriculture. They cultivated wheat, barley and various types of millets They adopted a double cropping system, pastoralism, that is sheep or goat farming. Okay, was known to them, also known to them with agriculture. They rear cattle, sheep, and goats. They had a knowledge of various animals, including elephants, but did not know the use of horses. So, main point, they did not know that. The Harappan cattle are called as zebu, and it is a large breed, often represented in their seals. Look at the pottery, Harappan painted pottery. The shapes. Look at the Harappans used painted pottery. Their potteries have a deep red slip and the black paintings. The pottery has shapes like dishes on stands, storage jars, perforated jars, and the S-shaped jars, plates, dishes, bowls, and pots. Now, metals and tools. Metal tools and as well as the weapons. The Harappans used shed blades, that is, the copper objects, and bone and ivory tools. The tools and equipment such as points, chisels, needles, fish books, razors, weighing pans, mirror, and antimony rods were made up of bronze. Look at this, blades. These are different types of blades. Sharp one they were started to use during this period. Then antimony rods were made of bronze things. Shikarpur, Gujarat. This site we can see in that Shikarpur. Now, textiles and ornaments. The Harappans used metal and stone ornaments. They had a knowledge of cotton and the silk textiles. They made carnelian, copper, and gold ornaments. Fine stoneware and shell bangles were also used. Some of them edged designs. The Harappans exported them to the Mesopotamia. Look at trade and exchange. What is the business in between and what are the chains they have started to exchange in that. The Harappans had close trade links with the Mesopotamians. The mention of Meluha in the cuneiform inscription is considered to refer as a Indus region. Weights and measures. Look at the weights of the Harappan civilization. Copper balance from the Mohenjo-daro period. The Harappans developed a system of proper weights and measures. Since they engaged in commercial transactions, they needed standard measures. Look at that, the cubical chet weights are found at the Harappan sites. The copper plates for weighing balances have also been found. The weights point to their knowledge of the binary system. The ratio of weighing is doubled as 1:2:4:8:16:32. Look at the weight of the Harappan civilization. This is the copper balance, how they were using for the weights and measures. Arts and amusements. The terracotta. The terracotta figurines, paintings on the pottery, and the bronze images from the Harappan site, which suggest the artistic skills of the Harappans. Look at the dancing girl, which made up of bronze, as well as stone sculptures from Harappan period. Toy carts, rattles, wheels, tops, marbles, and hopscotches made in terracotta suggest the amusement of the Harappan people. What is terracotta? It's a kind of soil only, red and brownish color soil. During the Harappan people, they were made these images. So, religion. The Indus people had a close relationship with the nature. They worshipped people trees. Some of the terracotta figurines resemble the mother goddess. Fire altars have been identified at Kalibangan. The Indus people buried the dead, but burials were done elaborately and evidence for the cremation has also been found. Now look at the Indus script, a case study about the entire Indus Valley civilization. Cracking the Indus script. Harappans knew the art of writing. The script is found on seals, in molded terracotta, and on pottery. It has not been deciphered till now because the Indus texts are very short. The average length of the inscription is less than 5 signs. It has no bilingual text like a Rosetta Stone written in Egyptian and the Greek way. It was written generally from right to left. Based on computer analysis, the Russian scholar Yuri Morozov, who suggested that the Indus inscriptions have a Dravidian like word order. Look at that. The signs, identifications, reading, meaning, sign, again identification, reading and meaning for that. What is the symbol? This is the symbol they are using for a fish, and the star they are using that. So 3 stars. Look at the 6 stars. Each line codes gives you the symbols they have started to use. So this is the inscriptions you found over here in the Indus Valley civilization. So please go through the video clip once again and please try to understand the passages. Okay, thank you dears.